I'm live. Good morning. I am almost right on time. I think this counts as right on time. I'm sitting here like I'm waiting on coffee, but I'm not waiting on coffee. I'm waiting on me to start the coffee because apparently that is the kind of Monday that I am planning to have today. All right, now I'm waiting on coffee. So almost kind of on time, almost, as in like I started the live at 9 o'clock, but I'm not in my chair. And I obviously skipped some corners, cut some corners in order to get live at 9 o'clock. So I can't share the link until I get back to my desk. I am waving. What is this called when you do this? I swear I do words. Swaying. I'm swaying back and forth as if I'm holding a baby. I don't know why I do that. I've just always done that. If I'm standing still for too long, I end up swaying. It's like I can't quite sit still. But I can sit still, just not if I'm standing. Does that make sense? I can stand still. You're doing good. Good morning, Judith. How are you? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yay! Coffee. Coffee's in hand. I'm headed over to my desk where I can share the link to the Discord. Good morning, Seisha. I always put this light up first and then I have to like crawl under it. Because I am ridiculous. All right. I got a new tripod that is actually easier to put the phone into now. But the problem is that, move this up. The problem with this one is that I can't put the phone on the charger at the same time. So the other one is like really open at the bottom, so I can feed the charger up through it to charge the phone while I'm live. Starting to warm up here in Indy. Oh, good. But this one, it doesn't do that because it's like this curve to it. So it's got the back end that you put the phone against, and then it like curves this way. And there's only like so much room. So I keep trying to like push the phone up to try to let the charger fit in, and it doesn't. I'm always afraid that it's gonna like bend or something, so I can't have it on the charger, which only has me nervous that someday I'm gonna forget to charge my phone at night. But other than that, it's easier to get it in. All right, so let's share the link. I'm rambling about nothing. There we go. No one wants to stare at that. There we go. All right. Well, if I turn the phone upside down. But then, aren't I upside down? Hang on. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Kimmy. Hang on. If I do that, well, okay, if I hang up on you, it's Seisha's fault. No, I'm kidding. All right, if I do that, come on. Why? Okay, this was really easy. There we go. Like, I don't know what I was doing. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Okay. YouTube said no. YouTube was like, this is not good. What are you doing? It was worth a shot. No, I need need my brush. I am a mess today. I am such a mess. Like, it will flip. I guess not. No. YouTube. Now, I wonder if maybe it's because I'm already live and YouTube is like, what are you doing? Like, maybe if I flipped it upside down before I actually hit go live. But so glad to be able to get out and about today. I've been iced in since last week. Wow. And me, I'm like, give me more ice so I don't have an excuse. I just... Good morning, Ember. Good morning, Tasha. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Tasha's my name twin. So I made 9 YouTube thumbnails for my brother yesterday, and I have about 11 more to do. Nice! It's been a wild week. Some days no power, internet, heat, way to buy or cook food, water, etc. Well, yeah, I guess I should be a little bit more clear. I wouldn't mind more ice as long as the rest of the conditions here stayed the same. I just don't want to go anywhere. I want to be able to be like, someone be like, Naomi, you have an appointment. And me be like, oh, can't make it. I've got ice. Can't go. That's all I want. I'm very sorry that you've been dealing with so much. Hello, Alex. Hi, Farah. I love my apartment. Yeah. Yeah, Tasha, you and Ember. It took me 2 days to type 8.5 chapters of my novella. Nice. Anyone drink anything other than coffee or tea? So I have, okay, I don't know what you want. So far today, I had a glass of orange juice. I don't know why. That's not like an everyday thing, but today I was really craving orange juice. So I had orange juice. So I've got water. Now in this water, I have aminos. Hang on, let me grab it. 1 second. So, someone was saying, like, I used to drink, if I drank water, I always had the Crystal Light Wild Strawberry because that was the only flavor that I liked. It's the only kind of water I like, really, is if it's flavored, strawberry flavor specifically. But then someone else was telling me that that one is like all sweeteners and no nothing else. It's like all sweeteners, dye, and you know, all the stuff you're supposed to avoid and nothing else. And so I was like, okay, I don't like water plain. I really, really don't. So then I was scrolling Amazon and looking for water flavorings, and I found this one, Amino Energy is what it's called, and it is also strawberry. I think this one was like $25, which seems like a lot, but I've had it now since the beginning of December, and it's not done yet. So, and I drink a lot of water. I drink like 3 or 4 of these a day, maybe 5. I drink a lot. I'm constantly drinking something. Anyway, this tastes pretty good, and this one has aminos and electrolytes in it, and it has fewer of the sweeteners. So, and I mean, I gotta say, I wasn't all that convinced that it would be that much better, but I feel better with it. Anyway, then I've got my coffee, black, with a packet of stevia in here. What else do I drink throughout the day? Oh, Diet Coke. I drink a lot of Diet Coke too. I hate plain water. I do. I hate plain water. Good morning, Jessica. I drink everything on my desk. I have coffee, water, and iced tea. Celsius water. It has caffeine. I drink Carnation instant breakfast, Horlicks, Pepsi, and sometimes water. I had tea blend that I make periodically. Black tea plus red ginger plus orange spice. Ooh. Hello. Clearly, Canadian water is so good, and it's fizzy. I hate plain water. I have a Circle bottle. Yeah. They don't have strawberry, or at least the last time I looked, they didn't have strawberry. They had like all these other flavors, but not, I just like strawberry. I love Clearly Canadian, but I can't find it anywhere but gas stations, so it's expensive. Yeah. Good morning, Jessica. Have you heard of the water flavoring thing that uses scented air to trick you into thinking it's flavored? I think there's a strawberry. I think that's the Circle bottle. I sip and write, type, and needed something different. Thank you for that. I'll have to check it out. You're welcome. I was listening to a writer-related podcast who said for Amazon ads, you need hundreds of keywords. I can't imagine needing that many. Thoughts? I don't think you need hundreds. At least not to start. I think starting with like 35 to 50 is a good number. I can't remember what Brian Cohen actually recommends, but like anytime I've gone through his challenge to set up ads, it's never been hundreds ever. So ultimately with ads, this across the board, every business with ads, it's just like anything else. It's just like when you choose your writing strategy and your writing routine, whether or not you're a planner, a pantser, somewhere in between, your publishing journey. Ads and marketing, they're very subjective. What works for one doesn't always necessarily work for someone else because you're doing different things and trying to accomplish different things. So I would say start with the 35, see how it goes, add more in as you need to, and because you can keep running the same ad and just continually like checking it every, say, 2 weeks to a month to look at the performance. And then if like certain keywords are performing better, try more variations of those keywords and add them in and adjust the ads as you go. I put True Lemon in my water. Thanks for the ideas. You're welcome. They do now. They have a strawberry one now. Okay. All right. I was trying to make hot chocolate with hot chocolate bomb, and the ball didn't want to melt in the hot chocolate. Oh my God, my kids hate that. Yeah, see, I was able to find like strawberry lemonade and strawberry kiwi and strawberry something else, but at the time they didn't have strawberry. And I don't like all the others. I'm ridiculous. I'll eat I'll eat like strawberry rhubarb pie, but I don't want strawberry rhubarb flavored water. I'm weird. Hello, Franco. Good morning, Taylor. I was able to write 1,000 words yesterday. It might not be a lot for some people, but I felt so proud. You should be proud. That's amazing. It's been a minute since I was inspired like that. Good for you. What in the world? What just happened? Like, delete it, delete it, delete it, delete it. Okay. See, my mods are always on it. Some people just don't get the hint. Meaning me and my hubby got Circle Bottle yesterday. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Because if it's that good. But what does it look like? That's ridiculous. I know. I'm ridiculous. Do they have any bottles that look like this? You blinked and missed it. It's all right. Everyone else has timed him out. Good morning, Noelle. Spammer trying to promote their services over and over again. Oh, no. No, they don't? Okay. Maybe they got something. Well, they got that. What is that? That looks close. None of these look like the one that was there. All right, I will keep looking. It does look like they have strawberry now. Alexandra. Okay, I thought that the white, what I was like, that's from, okay. Hello. Maybe it's that guy. How are you liking the Discord, Alexandra? Maybe I should call you Noelle so I don't get you confused with the other Alex. I'm writing a novel, but lately I'm losing motivation. This is my first novel. I'm 18 years old and currently studying English literature. Also, the characters are from another country, so I'm having a hard time writing. Well, congratulations on writing your first novel. Yay! I look like Kanye West, don't I? Okay, so writing your first novel. Anyway, okay, so writing your first novel, yay, congratulations. If you're struggling with motivation, remember the motivation is something, it's going to come and it's going to go. Okay, so I recommend that you try to flip it. Think about like the law of inertia, right? I think you've probably learned that. Most schools at least teach it at least one time in some kind of a science class, right? Where An object that's at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object that is in motion tends to stay in motion until an external force stops it, right? So the motivation follows the writing. Try to flip it. Instead of waiting until you're motivated to write, instead start writing to try to build the motivation. Okay, so try it that way. That way you're not sitting around hoping and waiting for motivation to come to you and then struggling and wondering why it's not. So try that first. Even if it's not in your novel, even if you're going through the motions and like setting up your writing routine and whatever, and you're going through the motions and all you've done is research, just for example. Sometimes that'll pull motivation out and you can just keep going. Also, surround yourself with reminders of what you're trying to write. So they can be physical reminders like posters, plushies, notebooks with certain covers, other books, things like that are within the same overall genre, the kind of story that you're writing. Watch those TV shows, movies, listen to the music, find or create a playlist that kind of invokes the mood of your writing. Because then every time you watch those, you're going to think of your writing. And they may not motivate you enough at that moment to get you up and writing, but when you keep playing them, it keeps like gnawing at you and like you want to get up and go write. Okay. As far as characters from a different country, rely on research, at least for now. Make sure that you're researching that country. Make sure that you're researching the culture that those people come from. Not just, okay, the country, but like everything that has to do with that culture, how they view the world, how the world views them, how they interact with other cultures, what they do for food. Like there's, a lot in there, how they came to be, what their origin myths are. There's so many different things that shape a culture. So really dig in and try to understand that. And if you can, try to make friends with people who are in that culture if you're not already, and make sure that you have the kind of friendship where you feel comfortable asking them questions, find out like, hey, I'm trying to write a book that has characters from within your culture. Do you mind helping me out with some of the research so I can make sure that I represent them respectfully, kind of thing. Most people are really happy to help you write about their culture. Thank you. You are welcome. Where did you get that mug? This mug, I made it. So, which is why it's crooked. That side is crooked. This side's a little crooked. But what happened was I saw someone post a picture of this on a mug. And so I went searching for it because I was like, oh my God, I want that mug. And I searched and I searched and I searched and I could not find it anywhere. If it was either a fake mock-up, or if it was something real, then it was out of service. So what I did was I went to Canva and I created the graphic, and then I went to Zazzle, Zazzle, and I just created one mug, not for sale, just for me, because I didn't know. I was like, well, if it's out there somewhere, but like the store is shut down for a minute because of like a website, I don't want to try to sell this and then get hit with like a copyright infringement or something. But I wanted the mug, so I made myself a copy. It's all good. I know when you were talking to me. Okay, good. All the trolls today again. Yeah, there's a lot. I actually wrote down a question so I'd remember it. Yay! Kind of thinking about making an apothecary journal to go with my bestiary because one of the main characters is an apothecary. What do you think? I think that's a brilliant idea. Absolutely. Ember Drake, that sounds cool. Hello, good morning. If you make up a country, then you get to make up all the rules. Culture, world building is so fun. It really is. It means a lot. Thank you for your precious time. You are so welcome. I asked this question a while ago, but I don't remember if you answered me. Love the idea, Ember. I have a story idea that would have the zines, and now I want to make zines just to get the technical and sensory knowledge of how it's done. Would it be okay to put plus 18 on the cover of a spicy novel if you are also writing a young/new adult novel? That way, if an adult were to buy a book for their teenager, they would know which one is safe. Okay, so basically you're writing one story, but two different versions, one for the under 18-year-olds and one for 18 and over only. Is that what you're asking? In that case, yeah, I would definitely label it. I would even go so far as to have two different covers, like one that's more YA and one that's more adult spicy. My mug says, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You stole my coffee. Prepare to die. Your article, Kinky Fiction, Writing Sex Scenes That Don't Suck, was so enlightening. How do you know if a love scene is needed to move the story forward? How do you know if it's needed? Very, very rarely is one needed. However, a steamy scene can really help jumpstart a lot of things because people have to react to the steam, right? So if you've got two people and you need them to get together for whatever reason, there are two people that hate each other and you need them to start working together and you don't have a lot of words to do it in, then falling into an sexual scene can kind of jumpstart that because now they've got to react to that. So that might be one thing. It's very rare that you take a story and you go, this needs S in it. That's rare. More often than not, it happens the other way around, where you write an S scene and now you've got to make it make sense in the book. That's what happens most often. So I hope that helps. But the biggest thing to make sure of is that they're not just falling into bed for no reason because there was one bed and then they never think about it again. Now, maybe one person might be like, hey, it happened. I don't know why it happened, and I don't plan on it ever happening again because people are human. People have feelings. Even non-human people in stories still exude a lot of the same feelings that we have because they're relatable. And someone else might be trying to struggle with it. Maybe they're questioning their identities or whatever, depending on what the scene was. You got to make it make sense. You have to have them react to it in a way that drives the plot, rather than just looking at the plot and saying, this needs an S scene there. Also, how do you define the difference between, so sex has sex and love is love? They're two different things. They are two different things. You can have a love scene that does not have S in it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not. So I'm going back and forth between saying it and not saying it. And sometimes if I'm talking too fast, I just say it without thinking. But anyway, you can have people being loving toward each other without the S. And you can have fade to black where it's implied, but it's not there. And you can have S without love in it. Like, they're two very different acts. No two separate, but that could be possible. You're giving me ideas with that. It's one of my favorite mugs. Hello. You're so pretty. Thank you. One of my coworkers bought my first book for his teenage daughter. I told him that it's not for kids under 18. Whoopsie. Spicy trap. Yeah. Do you have a Grogu obsession? It looks like I do, right? Like, so actually, no. And I've got more over there. Most of these, I mean, I bought that one, the animatronics one, but most of those, and I think I got that kind of little one there, but most of the rest of these were all gifts from other people, including that one. But I do like him, which is why people got me the gifts. What's today's live about? It's a Q&A about writing and publishing books. You say obsession like it's a bad thing. Hello. I know the one I had planned, plotted is necessary because for my MC to fully unlock her power and her love interest to find the final puzzle piece to save the world. Okay. I don't think any of the apps care if you say, but I'm seeing like other YouTubers, not necessarily in the book writing space, but in other spaces, they're not saying that word. Hello. Maybe love scenes involve more emotional involvement and can fade to black, whereas S scenes are more graphic. Is there morning or night? We are morning right now. What car should I make on Drawbricks? I don't know. Smut is so dirty. I don't like that word. I mean, it's a fine word, but it's so dirty. It's not the same as S. Spicy readers don't care about that one. We don't take offense to it. Yeah, I'm not talking about the readers. Too early. Right. I also have a storyline for one Gothic Fiction, basically like one home residence building and their residence has a hard time with a ghost. I also have each character made up. Would you like to give some advice? I don't do specific story advice because that goes into coaching. And I don't do free coaching. Anything that I can answer quickly here, I'm more than happy to answer about writing, editing, and publishing. Otherwise, if you need more in-depth advice, join my Discord, which you can get to through whowantstowriteabook.com. Make sure you verify your account, and then you'll be able to like ask questions there. And all the writers are like more than happy to help you figure out scenes and do some character development and stuff like that. But like for like feedback and like editorial feedback that takes more than say 5 minutes for me to answer, I can't do those on the lives. I'm sorry. The coffee isn't coffeeing, right? I walk away to fix a cup of coffee and this conversation. I have to watch the replay. Hello. I'm just trying to figure out if I should write one for my other secondary MCs. The MC and her love interest are hetero, but other couples are the same. Goofy boo. I got this live recommended. Oh, cool. Are you writing a book? What do I think of Gina? You know what? I meant to message you. She seems okay. She's a little gruff at times. I don't think she's anti-self-publishing. I think she just knows about traditional publishing a bit more and is more confident in that. I see what you mean by every once in a while where she's like, it's fine for some people. And I don't think she means that in a condescending way. I could be wrong. But like I've been going over it in my head all weekend. I don't think she means that in a, it's fine for people who can't do traditional publishing or whatever. I genuinely think she means that some people like it, but it's not something she would choose, kind of thing. But anyway, I don't think she's particularly anti self-publishing. So you should be fine. Just skip those videos of hers if you like. If they give you the ick vibe, skip those videos, because a lot of her other videos do have really good advice to them. So like, she's got some good information. The only ones where it gets iffy is when she starts talking about self-publishing versus traditional publishing. You can tell she leans traditional, but I think that's more, it just happens to be her wheelhouse, and not so much that she's trying to keep people away from the other. You know what I mean? Need another 3 cups. I don't want to offend anyone by not having. Why would you offend someone by not having them? Or she'll do a video like the... Oh my God, yes! And eventually I will do that friggin' video. Noelle, I don't think you can offend people by not having... I don't think I've ever come across someone who was... Okay, well, hang on. There's a lot to unpack here. So, I don't think I've ever come across a review. Not that I've read all the reviews, but I don't think I've ever come across anyone complaining that there wasn't an S scene between a particular love interest. I don't think. So I'm not sure about that. And number 2, I don't think the lack of something can be offensive. But also, who cares? Like, as long as you're not out there purposely offending your ideal reader, who cares if someone else gets offended? Do you know what I mean? As long as the person that is going to buy your books isn't offended by it, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's kind of like when people started boycotting Hamilton, and you're like, but you were never going to buy the tickets. So who cares? Sometimes I find her advice really great, but other times I'm not so inspired. Yeah, just scroll by those. Can you share your Discord channel? It's called Who Wants to Write a Book. If you go to whowantstowriteabook.com, it'll bring you to the invitation where you can join, verify your account, and hop right in. Hello, I'm in the United States. Cats making biscuits. I do write, but not books really. Just write when I feel a certain way. Oh, nice. Which Gina? I cannot remember her last name now. She talks really fast. Gina Daly? Gina Deely? Taylor will know. That is how I was taking her too. She always says she knows and loves self-publishers, but some of the stuff she says I really, really like. Hello, Harley. I'll grab her TikTok at the people here. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if the hetero couple have an S scene and same-sex do not. That might seem, yeah, but that's when you go through, okay, so I wouldn't add it in just because of the level of offense, because that is literally what pandering is. And no one wants to be pandered to. So if you add it in simply because you want to add it in to not be offensive, that's literal pandering. I wouldn't do that. Would the story be strengthened with it? Does the story actually need it? That's when you can put it in. Otherwise, it's just like gratuitous, as you said. If the story doesn't need it, then don't put it in there. Who boycotted Hamilton? A bunch of people. It wouldn't be offensive. It could be missed. Like a reader says, I thought they'd get it on somewhere. Yeah, that's the thing. If it looks like the story's building to that and then it doesn't include it, readers may get upset, but not offended. Gina D 129. I have a pansexual character in my book, but I don't show the spice. That's another thing too. You can represent every gender, every orientation, every kink without actually explicitly showing them in the act. Like you can represent them without the S as well. My second book might have gratuitous scenes. I'm a little ashamed of them, but at the same time, the MC is a succubus. So now, I want to be clear. Gratuitous because you want to write them, that's not necessarily bad. Please remember that advice for one person may not be the same that I would give someone else because different stories, different strokes, all the things, right? There is a difference between like a story with a succubus and you've got scenes because you wanted to write scenes, even though they're not technically driving the story anywhere, but they might be expected simply because of the type of story that you're writing, versus two different couples with two different orientations and different genders. One of them gets an S scene, the other one does not, and you just want to throw in an S scene just because. If it's not needed, not necessarily doesn't go with the flow of the story, you just want to throw it in there because you're afraid of people not being happy that it's not in there. Have I ever hosted a writer's retreat? I have not. I have been thinking about it. I don't know how to start planning one. I have been thinking about it because I think that Illinois makes a nice central location for it. Like I wouldn't have even thought of it in New Mexico. But in Illinois, it's a nice central location, I think, because there's so many people along the East Coast. There's so many people along the West Coast. There's people along the northern border. There's people along the southern border. Like it's right there in the middle. So it's on my list. It's on a bucket list of mine, but I have not at this moment. So much depends on where the relationship is. New lovers might not be able to keep their hands off one another. Established couples might not be so insatiable. There's a lag. Has anyone ever been hosted or attended writer's retreat? Seisha has been to a couple. One of my 6 betas asked for more smecks. You're having a hard time searching for your Discord channel. Email me, naomi@helpmenaomi.com, and I'll send you the link. POV. If the POV is through the hetero couple, it might be confusing to suddenly have the same one thrown in. Some of her stuff is amazing advice that I bookmarked for later, but she really pushes traditional heavy. I have no idea how to reply tag people in YouTube. I take the fiction book writing advice and leave the rest because I'm going to self-publish. I would save up for a retreat if you did one. Oh, yay! Show me the money first. Fantasy, adventure, romance story, and it's episodic. So the story is told through all 6 characters' POVs. So, yeah, I would say if it makes sense in the story, if it flows in the story, if you can make it make sense, you're fine. You'll be fine. Wait, why was that one deleted? Why was that last? Hang on. YouTube Shorts also has streams now. I know, right? I just found out like not that long ago. I don't know. When did I make the move here? It was like December, right? November or December, I think, when I made the move here. And I was like, ooh, it's set up very similarly to TikTok. Like this is cool because it feels more casual. I'm thinking of making an author account on TikTok and other socials. That way it's separated and I can actually follow just relevant people. My original is muddled up with a lot of different types. That might be a good idea. If you can't like focus in, you should still be able to focus in your algorithm a bit through concerted efforts, just going in and like for about a week purposely trying to curate your algorithm should be okay. But if not, maybe having a second account is what you want. Naomi is amazing. I would go to literally anything you hosted, even if it was behind a Wendy's dumpster. Oh, Taylor, thank you so much. What of Illinois? Same. I made a second business account, but haven't activated it yet. Alex, I also have an incubus in my story. He accounts for a bit of the smut in book 2. My author TikTok account is now my favorite account. I relate to the FYP the most. Ah, nice. Book C has none, and she was so mad. It is the only clean one out of the 11 I have finished. Every time I go to my other account, I'm like non-readers. Am I a Colleen Hoover fan? She's good. I'm not like, she's not my favorite because I read a lot more science fiction and fantasy, but she's good. I got stuck in the cat videos hole on TikTok because of my sister. Seems that I haven't been on TikTok since the start of December. Really? There's a lot of controversy over Colleen Hoover. Yeah. Same, but because of my kid, not my sister. I think a loving S scene for the hetero couple and the female same S couple makes sense due to the nature of their powers, but I'm trying to figure out the male same couple. Okay. Have you read Atomic Habits? I have read it. It was not for me. I know that that works for so many people. It is not for me. And what I'm finding is, as I talk to more people who are ADHD and or on the spectrum, it's the same thing. It's very neurotypical. It doesn't necessarily help neurodivergence. Missy sent me something and I didn't see it until today when Miranda invited me to her live. It's not for you either, Farah. Would probably be a thing for sensitivity readers. Yeah. Are you the only one who has never read a Colleen Hoover book? No, I know other people who have not read anything of hers. Keep trying to tag people, but my only options are putting them in timeout or blocking them. How do I tag people on here? It's Leo. Okay, I don't know. Colleen Hoover. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, if you want to, I don't think you need to know who she is. My feeling is if you don't know who she is by now, then she's just probably not in your in your circle. I had no clue who she was until a TikTok about what this author says about you popped up on my FYP. Ah. I have not seen that TikTok. My ideal fan base is young new adults 18 to 30 who love fantasy, adventure, romance, primarily Black, Indigenous, people of color, and are queer or questioning. They want a story of people like them who saved the world. So, okay. Just walk into a Target and you'll see all of her books. Yeah, she's kind of been pushed out everywhere. Nine-hour flight to get to you. In Illinois, 9 hours. Jiminy crickets, Alex. Like, I know you're in Canada, but to me, my problem is, and this is completely and 100% my problem, and I understand that. My problem is that my experience with Canada is primarily, and don't hate me for this, when I lived in Connecticut, we were about an hour away from the border. And I knew so many people from Canada because we were constantly coming back and forth across the borders. I mean, there's a town right there in Rhode Island that's the border's right across the town. So it was it was hop, skip, and a jump. Literally a hop, a skip, a hopscotch board, and a jump to get there. So it was so there. My other experience with Canada was in Minnesota, where there are towns in Canada that are further south than where some of the towns are in Minnesota, just because of the way the border kind of does this thing. So like, and I know how big Canada is, but in my brain, it still doesn't quite click how far away you are. Because like, I know how big Canada is, but also all of my experiences with Canada have been very close encounters. There's a question going around the side of Book Talk I am on, and I was wondering your take on it. It's a long flight. There's only 12 of us, and I am so far north. That is a long flight. Canada's tiny. Canada's itty bitty. It's all ice. Thoughts? What were your thoughts? There is a question going around the site of Book Talk I am on, and I was wondering your take on it. And then thoughts. I don't see anything in between that, Taylor. My experience with Canada is Toronto, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and Quebec. Touristy, I know. I wish to experience more. It didn't post it. It didn't post it. You see it? Why don't I see it? Let me double check. Thank you, Ember. 9-hour flight to get to you. Yeah, I know. There is a question going around the side of Book Talk I am on, and I was wondering your take on it. That's a long flight. There is only 12 of us, and I'm so far north. Holy cow, that's a long flight. Also, Alex, I love how we both replace the I in our last names with a Y. That is my late husband's last name. Canada is tiny. This is a joke. I know Canada is huge. Thoughts? Okay, so it's not just me. If a white author writes Black, Indigenous, or people of color characters, is that writing/reading diversity? Okay. All right. First off, as a white author, I am fully aware that this is not my wheelhouse, and it is not up to me. And my opinion is like so unimportant in general on this topic, because I have absolutely no business saying what should or should not happen when it comes to representing Black, Indigenous, or people of color in books. Like, I'm fully aware that my opinion is like a sidewalk matter in this road. Like, it does not, in the end, it does not matter. It's not up to me. That said, and my take on it is, the publishing space in general is hugely racist even to this day. If you look at the bestsellers lists, they are old white men. Yes, Black, Indigenous, and people of color are starting to crawl up there. Yes, women of all colors are starting to crawl up there, but they still make up a large majority of those lists. And when you think about how those lists are curated, they are not on sales. USA Today was based, at least in large part, on sales. And I don't know. I mean, then they went away for a little while because they fired that editor, and now they're back. And I don't know if it's curated the same way. So it was at least more on sales than not. The Amazon one is based on Amazon sales, but like the New York Times, it's based on editorial pick. So much so that they have been sued in the past for things happening on the list, and they said it's not a list based on sales. It's what we choose. It's an editorial thing. It's not facts. Like, it is racist. And as such, it is so hard. It's like that much harder to find representation of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And if we leave it to them, if we as white authors who make up the majority of all of these lists and make up the majority of all of these books coming out, and we leave it to them and we say, I'm staying out of it because I'm not Black, Indigenous, or people, or a person of color, ergo, you have to take care of it yourself, then we're giving them nothing. We're giving them no leg to stand on. We're not allowing new creatives, we're not allowing the children to look at these lists of books coming out and see themselves being represented in any kind of way, which just further, like, it continues the damage. We're never going to get anywhere if we don't help them. That said, we need to be following their lead, not just taking it upon ourselves. Like, I don't mean this in a white savior kind of way. We need to be following their lead, which means if you're going to add in Black, Indigenous, or a person of color into your book, you need to do it respectfully. You need to do it by talking to Black, Indigenous, and people of color and understanding what they want to see in stories, what they're going through, what that representation actually means. And I would not make it your main character, but a very important side character, and make sure that they're not stereotypes, make sure that they are handled respectfully, that they have their own voice. And the color matters. If you cannot, this is one of the things, this is one of those things, like, color matters. It really does. And that sounds taboo in a world where everyone's like screaming like, I'm colorblind, I don't even see color, everyone's beautiful. Like, yes, everyone is beautiful because of their color, but also it raises the stakes. You can't have a character and think, oh, it's just a skeleton, and who cares what the color of the skin is that I slap on it? It doesn't matter, because if you take the white skin off and you add Black skin, it raises the stakes. And my favorite, there's quite a few examples of what I mean here. If you look at the movie Can't Hardly Wait. Is it Can't Hardly Wait? Yeah, Can't Hardly Wait, right? The beginning of the movie, those 3 kids that are in the gas station, if they were Black, would they have been able to do that scene? No, they would not. They were 3 white kids dressed in like these big baggy puffy coats and like talking and swearing and talking about how they were going to do this and do that and do this and do that. If they were Black, they could not have done that scene because the stakes would have been raised. The gas station attendant would have been watching them or calling the cops or something. That scene would not be there. It matters. I Know What You Did Last Summer. If any of the kids in that car were Black, would they have called the cops? No, because the stakes get raised. It is a very different thing. You have to remember that they're still living in a racist world, even if you don't want to deal with racism. So we have to handle them carefully. We have to understand that it's not as simple as just switching out the words on the skin color. And we have to make sure that we are actually representing them well. But I do believe that white authors can help lift and represent Black, Indigenous, and people of color, as long as they are doing it respectfully and as long as they are working with Black, Indigenous, and people of color in order to do it. And I think that if we all work together, we can start seeing better representation across the board, which will help the next generation of writers see themselves being represented. I hope that I covered all my bases there. Okay, it was a very long time ago, but he got me started writing to get me out of my trauma. I use his name rather than my birth name. I so appreciate you saying this, Naomi. Thank you, Farah. That's amazing. My dad always encouraged me to read and write. I keep trying to catch the trolls, but I'm not fast enough. It's okay because I got a lot of moderators, so colorblind is equivalent to I get to ignore a lot of experiences you've been through. Yeah. But did not have a stereotypical traditional Black upbringing. My parents were my parents, nothing my friends. They were both ministers. We were solidly middle class until my dad passed. And not to mention that all Black people do not experience trauma. There is an entire Black experience that are wealthy, lived in Sag Harbor region, and have lived a privileged life. I think you did an excellent job. Thank you. So yes, do be mindful. Yes. Even I get caught up in stereotypes, which is why I always research and ask questions to better represent my characters as people. Black people are not monolith people. Yeah. And so I think that if we follow their lead and handle it respectfully, I have not yet come across a Black, Indigenous, or author of color who has told me flat out, white people have no business writing Black characters. I've never, now maybe there's some out there, I don't know, but I have never met anyone. What I have met are a ton of Black, Indigenous, and authors of color saying, oh my God, white people, do it right or just don't do it. That's what I've seen the most of. So that's my take on it anyway. Do with that what you will, because I do understand that my take is not the take. And as a white author, my opinion is not necessarily like a top opinion that should be listened to, especially when I'm sitting here saying follow their lead. Anyway, yeah. That part, yeah. All right, y'all. It is that time. So, Word office hours in about 20 minutes-ish. I will share the link. For Love and War, I went over every point of the love interest with my Cree friends so that I got them right. Y'all, have an amazing day. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning and asking your questions and everything. I hope you get all the words written. And I will talk to you tomorrow morning, okay? Bye.